This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Friday, October 25th, 2024. I'm Alex Brown. The Indianapolis Zoo has awarded a $1 million grant to Ecuadorian conservation group Fundación Hocotoco to support its efforts to save the newly discovered blue-throated hill-star hummingbird from extinction. Zoo CEO Rob Shoemaker said the group had a very detailed action plan for the funding.
We could combine that with their quite remarkable track record. They showed a history of successes and a history of achievements that made them absolutely the best out of this extraordinary group.
The group plans to use the funding to triple the size of its Cerro de Arcos reserve in Ecuador that was established to protect the bird's habitat. The ultimate goal is to change the bird's classification from critically endangered to endangered within 5 years. As work continues on the new Amelia Earhart Terminal at the Purdue University Airport, the Federal Aviation Administration is giving $1.5 million to support the project. The $12 million terminal is designed to meet current ADA requirements and will include baggage claim, ticketing, and passenger screening areas. Indiana State University has dedicated its new cybercrime lab in honor of its board chairman, a former FBI special agent. The Robert E. Casey Cybercriminology and Intelligence Analysis Laboratory is designed to provide students with hands-on experience in cybersecurity and intelligence in the digital world. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the Engage Indiana series, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. With an unrelenting focus on growing Indiana's economy, we'll dive into each region's unique challenges and distinct opportunities for growth. 9 regions, 1 goal. Indiana's bold future starts here. Discover more and register at ibj.com/engage.
Hoosier coal advocates pushing for a ban on early coal-fired plant retirements have found allies among Republican Senate leaders, but a key House lawmaker on Thursday publicly signaled opposition to such a measure and said he'd put forth his own proposal.
Representative Ed Soliday of Valparaiso co-chairs the bicameral Interim Energy Committee that met Thursday and leads the House Energy Committee during the legislative session. That means he controls which proposals get heard and voted on in his committee and which meet an early demise. He killed an attempt last session to explicitly give the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission the authority to stop utilities from closing their coal-fired plants and to set conditions for utilities to meet in order to commence retirements. Soliday told the interim committee that coal-fired plants are often too expensive to run. Coal plants have historically had 50-year lifespans, according to a 2019 article published in Nature Communications. But coal plants decommissioned before the end of their expected decades-long lives have become a political flashpoint. Soliday, who spent more than 35 years working for United Airlines, defined useful life as ending when operations and maintenance cost more than can be earned in revenue. He's planning to propose legislation codifying a definition into law, but it's unclear how that would fare in the Senate. Last week, Republican gubernatorial nominee Mike Braun asked regulators to reject one utility's proposed coal to natural gas conversion. AES Indiana said it wanted to repower rather than retire the units. Soliday said if lawmakers want to comment on a case, they should send their letters instead to the Office of Utility Consumer Counselor, which represents ratepayers in the IURC cases. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Lafayette-based Wabash is reporting a third-quarter net loss of $330 million compared to net income of $55.3 million during the same period last year. CEO Brent Yeagy primarily attributed the shift to a recent legal verdict against the trailer manufacturer. In September, the company was ordered to pay $462 million to the families of 2 men killed in a 2019 crash involving one of the company's trailers. The victims' families claimed Wabash was negligent and manufactured a defective product, which was then involved in the crash. Yeagy said they were waiting for a court to enter a final judgment for purposes of appeal and evaluating all legal options available to the company. The company is also reporting a 26.7% decrease in net sales, which totaled $464 million for the quarter. Indiana State University says it is planning to help the state's future workforce through the renovation and expansion of its technology annex at the Bailey College of Engineering and Technology. The university broke ground today on the $66 million capital improvement project, the largest in the school's history. President Mike Goddard told Inside Indiana Business that the project will allow for more work-based opportunities for students.
These are in high-demand areas across the state of Indiana and across the nation. One of the things that we have to continue to focus on as an institution is contributing in a meaningful way to workforce needs and demands and contributing to the state's economy. And so when I think about these fields, I think about how we can be a solution at Indiana State to providing an educated workforce to these high demand areas.
The project is slated for completion in 2027. Eiteljorg Museum CEO Catherine Haig is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.